Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rail Starfighter, and today we will continue adapting the Dicta Boelcke to the X-Wing Miniatures game to improve our gameplay. We're on rule number 2, and rule number 2 states, carry through an attack once you have started it. That rule is good as is. It does not need to be translated to X-Wing, but I will be putting on some scenarios where that rule can be maximized and why you need to follow through on your attacks once you have started them. The first scenario we're going to go over is a classic joust between two squadrons. This is the first round of engagement. Now, the first round of engagement is always the most important round of engagement because you have the full power of your list, and it's probably the only time in the game where you get to use the full power of your list to your advantage. So right now, if I'm the Rebel player, and I'm looking at this First Order squadron, my first thought would be to eliminate the most expensive and strongest ship on the board, which would be Kylo Ren. But judging by this distance, Kylo Ren's not even in the game this round. He's out of range, he's not shooting at you, and you're not shooting at him. So now I'm looking at his support ships. I'm looking at the Zeta Squadron survivors, and have to figure out which one do I go after first. Well, one thing I always like to do is I like to shoot from the back of my formation to the front of my formation. Reason why is because usually you're going to have your lower pilot skill, or your higher pilot skill ships in the back. So I have Garvin here at a 4, I have Essage here at a 3, and then all my Y-wing bombers are at 2s. Putting your higher pilot skill ships in the back is great because you kind of use these lower pilot skill ships as blockers for these ships. So again, if a ship were to come in and bump one of your bombers, they now have no tokens, and you have tokens to shoot upon them, and it helps you out with probabilities on dice and such. But in this situation, let's just say everyone was able to take a token. Everyone has a resource. So how do you determine who to shoot at first? Well, I start from the back of the formation. Garvin would be the first person to shoot, so I would look at Garvin's arc. Garvin right now can shoot at the yellow and the green, but not the red. So immediately shooting at red this turn, for me, is out of the question until green is off the board. So Garvin will shoot at green. The reason why I'm picking green is because it looks like that the whole squadron can hit green comfortably. Based on Garvin's measurements and where he's at, I can determine that green is the most comfortable to be shot at from my list. I know it's kind of weird to say, but that's just the way I think about it. He is the most comfortable target. All my ships can hit him with ease. So I'll go after green. Next will be Essage. He's got him. And then the bombers would go after green as well. So why are we focusing on shooting one ship? The reason why is because a ship in an X-Wing list is like a card in any other kind of game, like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon. As soon as you use cards, you lose that resource, and you only have so many resources in a game. Each one of these ships has the potential to deal damage to one of your ships, so by eliminating one from the board, eliminates their chances of eliminating one of your ships from the board. The less red dice your opponent can roll, the less chance they have at winning. So by focusing fire on green, your goal is to eliminate it from the board. And if you eliminate it from the board, they now, by the time they get to shoot, now say these are ones or that they're shooting at a different time, or you have higher pilot skill ships, they're now shooting with less dice. You've eliminated a resource for them to use. Another ship that I always like to target first, if you can, is a ship that has a bunch of combos. If I can get my list to attack a ship that has a bunch of weird combos, say this was like Quick Draw with some crazy combos with missiles and such, even though they had already shot, I will go after and eliminate that ship because I don't want them using their combo a lot during the game. To me, there's 3 types of lists in the X-Wing game. There are the pure combat lists that are designed for fighting and brawling and dogfighting. Those are the ones I like the most. Those are the ones I prefer to play because those are the ones that I can use these tactics very well with. Then there is a list that has the combo that usually has some crazy combo between ships that makes the list super deadly. But as soon as you lose one of those ships that make that combo happen, the combo is now gone and dead, and they have to change the way they play. So I don't necessarily like those kind of lists, because as soon as I lose my combo, my list is significantly weaker, and it's probably not powerful enough to win in a straight dogfight against a dogfighting list. The other type of list there is are lists that have control mechanics. They usually have tractor beams or prevent you from spending tokens, or have something that prevents you from playing the game of X-Wing. Now, those lists also have some sort of key control component to them, and you can't just win off pure control. Like, you can't win off a game where you just shoot tractor beams. It would take forever, and against an aggro list, such as this one here, it will eventually lose out to it because you're not using a weapon that deals a ton of damage. Can you put me in awkward positions and save yourselves? Sure. But at the end of the day, all it takes is one good lucky shot to catch up to the 3 or 4 damage you did over 5 turns. So as soon as you take out the control in a list, a control element, it also changes and reverts it back to a bare bones dogfighting list. So if you make a strong bare bones dogfighting list, I believe you have a better chance at winning, because at the end of the day, all those lists have to go back to that strategy. They have to go back to dogfighting and pushing enough damage in to win the game at the end of the day. So that's why I just want to talk about that really quick. So in this situation, we're all going after green. Green is eliminated. Now let's change up the situation a little bit more. Say green, it just got off that one maneuver that put it right in front of red. And it's one of those moments where it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you cleared that maneuver. That's crazy. That's insane. So you know red's taking a big shot here, and then the other TIE fighters are back like this. Your instinct is to go after green here. You want to take off the ship that has the range 1 attack. I'm going to tell you this right now, that I think that's the worst idea in this situation. Let's look at the whole battlefield as a whole. Right now, green is the deadliest to red, but is it the most deadliest to your squadron as a whole? Is there a way you can save this ship and also take a range 1 attack from green? The answer is yes. One thing you have to look at is, because of how close green is, the other 2 Y-Wings might not have a shot. For example, here, you see that this Y-Wing on the right side does not have a shot on green, and the yellow Y-Wing also does not have a shot on green. So if you were to go all in on green and not be able to remove that ship from the board, then this Y-Wing here is taking 4, 7, 10 dice. It's taking 10 dice here. You don't want to take 10 dice. So how do you eliminate taking 10 dice? Well, you go after a ship they can all hit. So if we look at green again, green has yellow, the yellow TIE fighter here. You know red has yellow, you know yellow has yellow, and Garvin and Essage both have yellow. I would eliminate yellow from the board. To me, yellow is the easiest ship to take out, the most comfortable for my list, and will save my Y-Wing. Simply put, the Y-Wing has 8 hit points. If, for the sake of this example, say all these TIE fighters rolled all hits, no crits, and you rolled no green dice this turn, you did not land a single evade, this ship would die. However, if you're able to eliminate yellow from the board, this ship is now taking only 7 dice. So again, for the sake of just the example, say these ships are, they don't have the initiative is lower, or the Y-Wings are higher. Just say for that sake of example that they're not 2s, and you're able to eliminate this ship from the board. You're now only taking 7 dice in here. And again, same situation. All 4 hit, all 3 hit, and no evades. Your Y-Wing survives and can get its shot off. So that's why I'm saying that just because a ship is at range 1 of one ship doesn't mean you have to go after it. By going after a ship in the back, you've eliminated this ship from getting destroyed. As if you were to go after this ship with these 3 and not be able to kill it, these other 2 cannot deliver a significant blow because they're not an arc to get the ship off the board, and the ship still takes 10 dice. By going after a ship a little bit farther back, you are putting through 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 dice to this ship. And they can only use their token one time. By eliminating it from the board, you save yourself. Now let's talk about another example where you're going up against a bigger ship. Say we're going after a Houndstooth. Well, you really can't take out a Houndstooth in a single turn. Not with most lists. The way I think you should go about approaching larger ships after the first round engagement is find a way to always put pressure on the ship. If I had this Y-Wing here, I would probably do a maneuver that would get its mobile arc to be continuing onto it. So maybe I would do something like a 1 bank, landing it here. In case it comes up here or it does a 0 stop, I can still apply pressure to the ship. I would also probably take someone like Garvin and have him do a 3 bank or something, so that way the back arc can shoot at Bosk. Same thing with Essage. Probably would take it off and to a 2 hard, and be able to make sure I still have shots on Bosk. The whole point of going after a larger base ship, and this is why I like multi-arc ships, is because they can go after a bigger ship without having to turn around. Usually if you had an X-Wing or any other kind of fighter, you would have to do a bigger K turn, and hopefully you get around it. And in this situation, a 4K won't clear. Bosk is just far away enough to block a 4K. So doing a 4K behind isn't really going to help. But using a multi-arc ship will be easier to ensure that you have pressure on the ship, trying to eliminate it from the board. So anyway, that's just some simple things to think about on how to follow through your attack. Following through your attack removes resources from your opponent to win the game. Remember, if your opponent can't roll red dice, they cannot win the game. So the less red dice your opponent rolls, the less chance they have at winning. Thanks you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. This place crawls, and remember to always check your 6.